What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another real estate deal breakdown weekly video series. I'm your video host, whatever the hell you want to call it, Greg Helbeck. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm like a little loopy today. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, or whatever you got to do. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you get value from today's video. Goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers in the next 90 days. And in order to do that, people need to subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, or as they say, Fakebook, or Instagram, if you can like the video, if you watch it and get value from it, that would mean a lot to me. And also, if you can share it with someone, that's how we keep getting these messages out there. So today, I am going to talk about a deal that I did in Newburgh, or as they would say, Newsburgh, New York, with a friend of mine, Michael Pinter. And this was an interesting one. So it actually happened, I think last month or 2 months ago, I forget. But it was a memorable deal because of the, I'm just checking it off my list here, because of the way that it went down and the seller and all that kind of stuff. So long story short, Michael Pinter, my good friend, one of my best friends, he's a great guy. If you're not following Michael Pinter and watching his stuff, you're missing out big time. But anyway, he hit me up and he said, hey, I got a lead in Newburgh, New York. I got a seller who wants to sell something up there. He's like, you want to partner on it? I said, absolutely. So I ended up investigating and found out that the seller had a property for sale. It needed some work, and it was like in the hood of the hood of the hood of the hood, if you know what I'm saying. I physically never went there, and it was in a real sketchy neighborhood. So we could do the deal virtually anyway, so it didn't matter. So long story short, got on the phone with the seller. Me and Brett got on the phone with the seller, and we were talking to him, and we were finding out why he was selling and what he wanted to achieve and this, that, and the other. And he wanted to sell because his son owns the rental property, and I believe his son got a job transfer somewhere or something like that. So he was dealing with the property, and he lived in Long Island, or as they would say, Strong Island, and he just didn't want to be a landlord in Long Island up in Newburgh, especially in this area. So we found out that there were some violations on the property. There was some other hair on the deal that made it a little tricky to sell. And I said, listen, I'll make you an offer, and we'll go from there. So we ended up negotiating. The guy was a little bit of a savvy negotiator, to say the least. And he was really stuck on a number. But I knew that even at the number he had, it was in an area, even though it's scary, there's a lot of demand for investment properties there. So I'm like, we can make that work. And I told the seller up front, and this is the big takeaway for you wholesalers watching this. I told the seller directly to his face, well, not to his face, on the phone. I said, listen, I am intending to wholesale this property. I said, I am intending to sell this property to another investor. I do not want to buy this. I know somebody who wants to buy this, but I don't want to buy it. So I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page, that I'm intending to find a buyer, and I'm going to need 10 days to do that. And if you're cool with that, I can put my best foot forward and find a buyer. In the event that I find a buyer, I'm going to resell the property to him and make a profit. And if I can't find a buyer, I'm going to let you know, and no harm, no foul. And I told him that is the risk, and you have to be okay with that risk. And he said, I accept your offer, and I accept the risk, and let's play ball. I said, all right, good enough. Got an agreement signed, and I stuck it out to my list, and I had someone immediately want the property, and he loves the Newburgh area, so he jumped on it right away. And we ended up going into contract, and this buyer's attorney was a real pain in the ass. So he ended up, the attorney, not the buyer's a good guy, but the attorney was really shaking us down for everything we had, and making everyone go through the ringer. So we ended up getting everything finalized and closed the deal out. We actually did a double close on this. So we bought the house from the seller and then resold it to the buyer on the same day. Didn't bring a penny of my money to that deal at all. It was well, actually I had a deposit down, but whatever. I had a $2,000 deposit down, so we ended up getting our deposit back. But anyway, got our deposit back and then got our profit. So it ended up working out. It wasn't a monster deal. It was a base hit at best. I think we probably made like maybe 13 grand, 14 grand. But listen, 14 grand is better than nothing. Made a nice profit on it. I personally never saw the house, never met the seller in person, and literally everyone went there, and I wasn't involved in the logistics in terms of like physically going there. Did the whole thing from the comfort of my house in San Diego. So It was a cool virtual deal, and it was literally on the worst street in Newburgh, one of the worst streets in Newburgh. So nice to not have to go there, just to be honest with you. So worked out. And what are the lessons here? What are the lessons? So that's the deal breakdown. What are the lessons that you can take away from this? Number one, be upfront with the seller if you're going to wholesale the house. If you're a buyer or if you're a wholesaler and you don't intend to close on the property, you have there's no obligations in wholesaling, but you have a moral obligation, at least in my opinion, to tell the seller what the hell you're doing. If you can close on the property no matter what, sure, tell them you're buying it because you're ultimately going to buy it. But if you're planning on either assigning the contract or doing a double close or having the transaction be dependent upon somebody else, and you're not, the key here is if you're not prepared to close yourself, you need to tell that to the seller and let the seller understand that's the risk. Most sellers don't give a shit. They're like, cool, that's all good, let's do it. Some do. And when they do that, you got to decide whether you want to buy it or whether you just want to walk away. And I'm not going to put a seller in a situation where they're like thinking I'm buying the house when I'm ultimately not. So if you're a wholesaler, you have an obligation to disclose to them that you're wholesaling it if you don't intend to close either way. So make sure you're doing that. And I was direct with the seller. I was upfront with him. I was, very, very, very honest about what my intentions were. And he appreciated that, and he respected that, and he ended up letting us make a profit on his house. He actually saw the profit. Like some knucklehead lender, some idiot in the transaction made the seller sign some document saying he saw the profit. It was some bullshit. I've never had that happen before, and it ended up working out. But the seller saw how much money we made, and it wasn't a lot of money, honestly. But, he saw it. He didn't care. He was happy. He was like, oh, I'm glad you guys made money. Because here's the deal. He wanted his problem solved. He wanted convenience, and he wanted certainty. And we were able to provide convenience, and we were able to provide certainty. And he knew we were making a profit. So when he saw the document he had to sign that said we were making a profit, he did not give a shit. And he was happy for us. So make sure you're upfront with the sellers. Sometimes, here's another lesson too. Number one, make sure you're upfront with the sellers. Number two, this property was a good deal, but it wasn't a great deal. And when you know your market really well, like I know the Hudson Valley, you can pay more for a property if you know the area is smoking hot on fire. And it could be in the hood too. The hood's smoking hot on fire in my area. So I knew that someone's going to want to buy this thing because it was a legal 3-family. And we sold the property like well under 250 grand. I forgot what we sold. No. We sold it, I think, for 270. It was under 300 grand. But anyway, it was a 3-family for under 300 grand, which in Newburgh is pretty good. So if you know the market, you can pay more. You can pay more. You can offer more. You can sell for more. So you got to know your market. If you know your market, you can turn a non-deal into a deal sometimes because you know the area, you know the ins and outs, you know the buyers who are buying, the sellers who are selling, and it just makes you a more calculated investor, to say the least. So hopefully you got value from today's video. If you're out there wholesaling, don't be shady. Tell the seller what you're going to do if you don't have plans to close. I want to reiterate that again. If you don't intend to close, tell the seller you're wholesaling it, right? Just the bottom line. That's the right thing to do. But if you're going to close either way, you don't need to tell the seller you're wholesaling the house because if shit hits the fan, you'll close anyway, and there you go. And last but not least, if you want to partner with me, if you want to do a deal like that with me, if you got properties in the Hudson Valley or you got them in San Diego or even in Pennsylvania, hit me up. I'm looking to buy more properties. We're looking to get up to 10 properties a month. We're not there yet. We're on our way there. And a way we can get there and also help others is if you want to partner with us, you want to bring us leads, you want to bring us deals, we're happy to either buy them from you. I'm a legit buyer. I'll do what I say I'm going to do. Or if you want to JV wholesale them with us like we did with Michael Pinter, hit me up. Here to help. My team's here to help. We're here to serve everyone watching this video if you want to do business with us. So email me, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com if you're interested in partnering up with us and doing some deals together. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe and like the video. If you're on social media, like the video and then comment on it, what your thoughts are. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.